Hello, everyone. I'm Pastor Katie from the First Presbyterian Church of Decatur, and I am bringing you today, day 16, Elijah on Mount Carmel, in Jesse Tree, God's Big Advent Story. So today, I'm going to tell you the story of Elijah on Mount Carmel. Now, this comes from the book of 1 Kings, chapters 18, verses 20 through 39, and I'm just going to tell you the story. So Elijah was a prophet of God who spoke. God would speak to Elijah, and then Elijah would tell the people. But the people of Israel at the time were worshiping another god whose name was Baal. And Baal was not God, but they thought that Baal was God. And so Elijah was going to prove to them that Baal was not actually God. So he told the people to build an altar, which is how they would sacrifice animals, and they would praise God by building these altars. And so they were going to build an altar to Baal, and then Elijah said, if Baal is real, then your altar will catch fire with no reason. The Baal would set it on fire. And so the people of Israel built this altar to Baal, and nothing happened. They were all waiting around, and they were praying to Baal to set this thing on fire, and it didn't happen. So then Elijah, also on Mount Carmel, so this is where all this is taking place, built an altar to God, and he used 12 stones, one on top of another, next to each other, this pile of stones that represented the 12 tribes of Israel. So one stone for every tribe of Israel, and he put firewood on top of it, and prayed and said, God, light this on fire if you're real. And God lit that altar on fire, and it was such a big fire that it burned everything around it. It was a huge, huge fire. And Elijah said, this is your God. This is God. This is what God can do. Not Baal, who didn't do anything. That God is real, and proved that God is real. So for today, the wondering is, I wonder what it must have felt like to see God act in that way. What were the Israelites thinking when they saw that God's altar lit up in flames so quickly? I wonder what that felt like. I wonder if they were scared or excited. And then I wonder if you have seen God's work in the world. Where have you seen God show up and make God's self known? It could be in something really kind of strange that happened that was great. It could be the way someone has hugged you when you needed a hug, or written you a card when you needed a little pick-me-up. Those are ways God shows up for us every day. And I wonder what those ways are for you. How you have seen God show up in the world. So for today's sticker, it is the altar that Elijah built. You can see the stones at the bottom. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them in this picture, but there were 12. And then you can see the flames. So to remind us of how God can show up, I'm going to put this guy here on the bottom because it was at the bottom. So as you close in prayer today, I want you to use your rocks, use your fists as rocks, and to think about 2 ways that God has shown up, and you've known that God is real. And for each stone, you're going to give thanks to God and say, thank you for showing up when, and thank you for showing up when. And that way we remember the ways that God makes God's self known to us and the way that God is real and acting in our world and in our lives. So I thank you for joining us. I'm grateful that you are here. I'm grateful for all that God has done and shown up for us. And I hope to see you again tomorrow. Thanks, folks. Bye.